So you want to learn scales in 7 days. First, we need to talk. Come here, look. There's a lot of crappy teaching of bass scales out there. Bland articles that give you meaningless shapes to practice, overhyped videos about the only scale you'll ever need to blah, blah, blah. And if you're a new bassist, you probably respond one of 2 ways. Like an A student who knows you should learn scales cause, well, not really sure why, but gotta get that gold star. Or you act like a rebel. Scales are stupid and boring. It, I'll just learn riffs. And scaleless rebel or clueless A student, you're missing out. Because of all the things to practice on bass, scales are the bass cheat code. One thing you can practice so you get unlost on the fretboard, learn songs faster, come up with better bass lines, all while secretly training your technique. So in the next 7 days, you'll get all that and learn the most important bass scales, all from one easy practice routine. And on day 1, you'll learn the scale every beginner should learn first. But just quickly, what actually is a scale? Well, imagine the full musical alphabet of 12 notes is like your spice cabinet. There are too many spices to put them all in your dinner, just like there are too many notes in the alphabet to squeeze all into one song, unless you're crazy, like me. Here's my new single, 12-Tone Hellscape. I think it's pretty catchy. If you're gonna mix spices, you need ones that work together to create a specific vibe, like Italian seasoning, or Chinese 5-spice, or herbe de Provence, So a scale is a mix of some of the 12 notes that are guaranteed to work together. You just plug a scale in, and you know it'll give your song a specific, coherent flavor. Which is why we need to start with a scale that's used in every musical style. It's the basis for all the music theory you'll ever need to learn, the happy-sounding scale behind most Christmas melodies, happy Disney themes, and Star Wars, which is not Disney no matter what anyone says. You need the triumphant sound of the major scale. It's the all-purpose seasoning of scales. It's everywhere. And to actually find scales on the bass, you use a fretboard shape. This gives you a starting point to know and use the scale so you don't get lost on the neck. We're gonna play the major scale shape starting on C, otherwise known as a C major scale. And we'll use a C on the 8th fret of the E string instead of playing down here so we don't have to stretch as much. And it looks like this: middle, pinky, index, middle, pinky, index, ring, pinky. Ta-da, you played a major scale. You can use this or any of the shapes in this lesson from any starting note. It'll just be called C major scale if you start on C, or F major scale if you start on F, but same shape. But just playing the shape is where people often go wrong. You need to play some music that uses the scale to actually get it in your bones. These are your bones. And often the best way to do that is actually with a melody or guitar riff instead of a bass line. Melodies and riffs tend to use more notes of the scale, so they're really good for learning your scale shape as music. And the major scale gives us one of my favorite melodies of all time, Howard Shore's legendary Shire theme from The Lord of the Rings. We're gonna play this lovely melody down low, where we learned the scale shape, although you could also play it up high using the same shape. Just use the same fingers as in the scale, middle, pinky, index, pinky, middle, etc. And it sounds like this: 2, 3, 4. Okay, I really should have picked a shorter riff for YouTube, but here's the other half. Almost there. Your mission to complete day 1 of your 7-day scale journey. Spend 5 or 10 more minutes reviewing this scale shape and playing along with this riff and throwing the One Ring into the fires of Mount Doom. You can practice along on your own with the PDF in the description. I've got tons of resources for you in there for all 7 days, all totally free. So whether you just paused and took a day to practice, or you're watching this lesson all in one go, for day 2 you're gonna learn a scale that's even more useful for bass lines. You know it from Ramble On, Led Zeppelin, Jump, Jive and Wail, Louis Prima, Crazy Little Thing Called Love by Queen. It's the major pentatonic scale. This scale is like mixing sugar and butter and vanilla. It just makes everything a little more smooth and sweet. So here's the thing, actually learning a different scale every day for 7 days would be kind of counterproductive, because you don't really learn a scale unless you play it like a lot and use it in a lot of songs. But we're gonna work around that here because you actually kind of already know major pentatonic. Check it out. See, if we take the major scale, which has 7 unique notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, before reaching the octave, which is the repeat of the starting note, we just remove the 4th and 7th notes from the shape, and it becomes the major pentatonic scale. Penta meaning 5 instead of 7. Removing those two notes takes the happy sound of major and makes it even more vanilla sweet, in a good way. And we'll actually move the shape to start on 3rd fret of the A string, which is also a C, just in a different position. And the frets are further apart here, so you'll likely need to microshift a bit, like this, rather than holding a big brutal stretch. And at the beginning of time, in 1964, the universe converged on the ultimate major pentatonic riff to learn this scale shape. It's the intro guitar riff from My Girl by The Temptations, played by Robert White of the famous Motown Funk Brothers. This should be easy peasy. Just copy your fingering from the scale, middle, pinky, index, pinky, microshift like this as needed, and it sounds like this, starting with the bass. Here we go, 1, 2, 3, 4. So your mission to complete day 2, spend 5 or 10 minutes practicing the major pentatonic shape, play along with the riff a little more, and review day 1 if you have time. And day 3 is where things really get interesting. Because learning the shapes is a good start, learning riffs is great because it turns it into music, but the ultimate tool to get a scale in your bones is to actually use those spices and improvise your own riffs and melodies using the scale. Step 1 is to have a minor panic attack, because improvisation is terrifying and impossible. Well, no, it actually isn't. The kind of improv you need to do to start learning the flavor of a scale is actually really easy and fun. Plus, it trains up your coordination and improves your mind-to-finger connection. All you need is a drone track, some kind of long sustained note that matches your starting note. And then just experiment. Start by playing the scale in order, it could be major or major pentatonic. And now the improv element is to try playing the notes in a different order. And there's really no way to go wrong. You can follow your curiosity, like, ooh, I wonder if I went from this note to this note. Oh, it sounded like that, neat. Or you can be super math nerdy and do sequences of what number note in the scale you play, like the first note, third note, 2, 4, 3, 5, 4, 6, 5, 7, 6, 8, or like anything in between. And the rhythm is flexible because the drone doesn't force you into a specific groove, so you can play loosey-goosey flowing melody, or you can stick your own groove in there. If you do any version of that, you're learning the scale at a much deeper level than most shape regurgitators, and the ear training and finger exercise will pay off big time. Your mission to complete day 3, warm up on your major and major pentatonic scale shapes, then spend 5 or 10 minutes doing improv with a drone track. And if you really want to learn scales by playing music and improvising, you should check out my Beginner to Badass course. Many students before you have successfully learned to create their own bass lines using scales with my improv formula method that magically makes it not hard. Plus, you'll build your technique from the ground up, learn essential theory, and play tons of music with me. Click the link below or check it out at BassBuzz.com. And when you're done reveling at the majesty of my paid course, we'll jump into day 4, where you'll step into the dark side of scales. You've heard it in Feel Good Inc. by Gorillaz, The Chain, Fleetwood Mac, and the full scale is played in order in Criminal World by David Bowie. It's the minor scale. Ooh. It's like black pepper or unsweetened cocoa powder or whatever this dark, mysterious substance is. If the major scale is the happy, the minor scale is the sad. It brings the melancholy that we need in our songs as tortured artists. We're gonna learn an F-sharp minor scale, but it's the same shape for any key. It just depends on your starting note. So play index, ring, pinky, index, ring, pinky, index, ring, microshift as needed so you don't destroy your hand and wrist, and booyah, you played a minor scale. The more of these scale shapes you learn, the faster you can learn songs. Instead of memorizing chains of meaningless tab notes, you see the patterns that link the notes together, and your brain can digest it faster. And the riff we're gonna use to internalize this scale shape was my favorite minor scale riff back in my early bass days. So from the halls of my high school to your ears, it's the guitar riff from Crazy Train by Ozzy Osbourne, originally played by the great Randy Rhoads. Finger this just like the scale, but watch out for the uncomfortable stretch on these low frets, microshift as needed. So index, ring, pinky, ring, index, pinky, ring, pinky, index, pinky, ring, open, and that open low E might look like it doesn't fit the scale shape, but it's just the lower octave of the 7th note of the scale. Forget about it. And with the track, it sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Your mission to complete day 4, spend 5 minutes reviewing the minor scale shape, plus major and major pentatonic, and another 5 minutes playing some more Crazy Train and any other scale riff you've enjoyed. On day 5, you're gonna feel like a badass because you're learning the scale that makes almost every cool riff go round. Moby Dick, Led Zeppelin, I Shot the Sheriff, Bob Marley, Paranoid, Black Sabbath, Black Knight, Deep Purple, so many colors. Yes, it's the minor pentatonic scale. And again, you actually already know it. This scale is like salt. It goes with everything, and it makes everything zingy. You basically can't not sound cool when you noodle this scale. Just take the minor scale shape, we're starting with the E minor scale, and then remove the 2nd and 6th notes, and you get E minor pentatonic. Index, pinky, index, ring, index, ring. Super noodles. And while there are tons of great minor pentatonic riffs to learn, many of them have like a tricky rhythm, like I Shot the Sheriff. It's hard. Or like 2 fast notes, like Moby Dick. But I hunted deep in the dark, vast libraries of BassBuzz to bring you the intro riff to Knock on Wood by Eddie Floyd, which walks through the minor pentatonic scale in order. That's the great Duck Dunn on bass, making his 4 billionth appearance on the BassBuzz channel. So just play index, pinky, index, ring or pinky on that 9th fret, to index, back to ring or pinky, listen for those offbeat notes, and here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Your mission to complete day 5, spend 5 minutes reviewing all 4 scale shapes, giving priority to your weakest links, and 5 more minutes reviewing your favorite riffs that we've covered. But you need day 6 to fully digest the last couple scales you learned. That's right, it's time to use those spices on some more improv, now in the dark side direction of minor and minor pentatonic. Improv isn't just for soloists and jazz nerds. It's the best way to connect your mind to your ear, to your fingers, so you go, I hear the sound in my head and it means my fingers need to move like this through the scale. So that like when you go to make a bass line or play a fill, it's like an actual idea that comes from you, not just like, I wiggled my fingers to see what would happen. I think everybody should learn to improvise early on, which is why it's baked into my Beginner to Badass course, which I'm definitely not plugging a second time right now in this sentence. So kick on a drone track, I'll use E, start by playing the scale in order, could be minor or minor pentatonic, and then try playing some scale notes just in a different order. Ooh, what if I go from this note to this note to this note? Oh, it sounded like that. How cool. Or let me try a number thing, like 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5. Also cool. I could play a flowing melody. Or I could play a groovy groove. Literally anything you do is training up your coordination and your ear. So your mission to complete day 6, spend 5 minutes warming up on scale shapes and riffs, and then do 5 minutes of minor improv with a drone track. And to complete your 7-day scale journey, there's one more scale that every bassist needs to know. It's the scale behind Heartbreaker, Led Zeppelin, I Want to Take You Higher, Sly and the Family Stone, Bomb Track, Rage Against the Machine. It's the blues scale. It gives you the always tasty salt of the minor pentatonic, but with an added secret ingredient, like cayenne or paprika, or a third hot thing, I don't know. Here's the most important thing to know about the blues scale. It's named in a confusing way. You can play it when you play the blues, but you don't have to, and you can also play it not when you're playing the blues, and it won't make that thing sound like bluesy. It's just called the blues scale. I don't know. So to play a D blues scale, we start with a D minor pentatonic, and we add an extra note in between these two, which is called the blue note, also called the tritone, if you've ever heard that spooky term. This note adds tons of vibes, and altogether that's fingered index, pinky, index, middle, ring, index, ring, or you can cheat the stretch and play index, pinky, index, middle, pinky, index, pinky. And the best intro to this sound is the blues scale riff to end all blues scale riffs. It's the ever classic and maybe slightly worn out in bass lessons, Sunshine of Your Love by Cream. That's the man himself, Jack Bruce, on the funky fretless bass. You can play this with scale fingering like ring, index, but because you don't really need to stretch to that pinky note until the end, you can also compress your hand a bit and play pinky, index, pinky, pinky, middle, index, and then stretch, index, pinky, index. Let's hit it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 57. Briefly review your blues scale shape and any other shapes you're still fuzzy on. Spend 5 minutes on any riffs you want to play more from this lesson, and then another 5 minutes improvising with the blues scale or any other favorites using a drone track. And if you really want to learn to cook with these scales, you need to keep learning music that uses them, so you tell your brain, hey, this is useful information, remember it please. So click here for the first 50 songs you should learn as a beginner to keep becoming a scale master chef and avoid making music that sounds like this. I don't know, I actually kind of like it. You just have to commit if you're not going to use the scale.